Hello, Liverpool fans. Welcome to the Liverpool Report, your go-to source for the latest news, match updates, and transfer stories straight from Anfield. Don't miss out on any of the action. Hit that subscribe button now and stay in the loop with all things Reds. DOMINIK Szoboszlai and Alexis Mac Allister were taking nothing for granted despite firing Liverpool 13 points clear at the Premier League summit. The Reds midfielders grabbed a goal in either half to sink Newcastle, who were forced to play without their star striker Alexander Isak due to a groin injury. Liverpool's pivotal 2-0 win came on the same night that Arsenal dropped more points in the title race against Nottingham Forest. The Londoners do still have a game in hand on Arneslot's men, but the advantage already looks insurmountable. Nobody in the Liverpool dressing room will be popping open the champagne early, though. Going by Szoboszlai's comments when the Hungarian was asked when he and his teammates would start to think the title was definitely done, Szoboszlai told TNT Sports, "Well, when mathematically they have no chance to get us. We are really happy to be 13 points clear, but we will focus on ourselves. Now we have the Champions League coming up, so we will have to focus on this as well. Game by game, we are looking forward to stay at the top. Winning a 20th domestic title would be the perfect way to cap a superb maiden season at the helm for Slot, who has handled the unenviable task of replacing Jurgen Klopp flawlessly." The Dutchman has also guided the Reds into the round of 16 in the Champions League and to next month's Carabao Cup final, where they will lock horns with a Newcastle side who will be out for revenge and with Isak back in tow. But again, Szoboszlai was keeping his feet firmly on the ground when the idea that Liverpool could end the season with 3 trophies was floated to him. He replied, "When I came to Liverpool, I wanted to win everything in my first season, so I don't want to talk about it. We have to focus, game by game. First, we have a Champions League game that we have to go through, and we have a Premier League game in between, and then we have a cup final against these Newcastle, a really tough team, a really good team, and a really good playing style. We have to focus first on the Champions League and then the cup final." Liverpool goalkeeper Kawimin Kelleher has been warned against leaving the club by a former player who still harbours dreams of returning to Anfield. Kelleher joined Liverpool's academy in 2015. While he has predominantly featured as a backup to Alisson Becker in his time on Merseyside, the Irish international has enjoyed long stretches in the first team due to several injuries to the Brazilian. While Kelleher has expressed his desire to leave Liverpool in search of regular first-team football, he should perhaps be mindful of former Reds defender Sepp van den Berg's recent comments. Van den Berg left the club last summer to join Brentford, but has hinted at a tinge of regret since. Despite becoming a mainstay for the Bees, the centre-back has admitted he would jump at the chance to rejoin his former club. The 23-year-old believes he could have taken advantage of injuries in Liverpool's defence this year and earned himself a place in Arneslot's first Atlético. "I would be lying if I said that I did not dream of returning to Liverpool one day," Van den Berg said to Voetbal Primeur. "That is still on my mind. I would be lying if I said that I didn't look at Liverpool's defensive injuries myself. That's football, you don't know. And who knows? If I do well here for 2 or 3 years, I will return to Liverpool and be a starter there too." Kelleher has featured in 14 games this season, but was sent back to the bench when Alisson returned from injury. While Van den Berg's comments may give the 26-year-old food for thought, Slot's decision to bring in Valencia keeper Georgi Mamardashvili last year, with the Georgian joining up with his new teammates this summer, complicates matters further for Kelleher. According to The Times, Kelleher is now looking to leave Liverpool at the end of this season, with his current deal taking him to 2026. Several Premier League clubs were reportedly interested in signing the Irish star at the start of this season, yet the player himself admitted any move was out of his hands. "I've made it clear in the last few years that I want to go and be a number 1 and play week in, week out," said Kelleher in September 2024. The clubs made that decision to get another goalkeeper, and from the outside looking in, it looks like they've made a decision to go in a different direction. Sometimes from the outside looking in, it looks like that's 100% my decision to leave, but at times it's not always in my hands. It's been reported that Liverpool have rejected a few bids as well. My ambition is clear that I think I'm good enough, and I want to go out and prove it. Kelleher edged ahead of former backup keeper Adrian under former boss Jurgen Klopp and signed a new long-term deal with Liverpool in June 2021. He has made 64 first-team appearances for the Reds across 6 seasons, with 43 of those coming over the last 2 seasons. The Irish shot-stopper has played in 2 League Cup finals under former Klopp. His performances helped the Reds win both, and he even scored the winning penalty in a shootout against Chelsea in 2022's final. As well as his League Cup triumphs, he has won the FA Cup and was part of the squad that won the Champions League in 2019 and Premier League in 2020. Mohamed Salah has dropped his biggest hint yet that he will quit Liverpool when his contract runs out at the end of the season. Salah, 32, is in the form of his life as Arneslot's team are chasing down a Premier League, Champions League and Carabao Cup treble and is being touted as a Ballon d'Or winner. But the Egyptian winger is free to talk to foreign clubs with just 3 months left on his contract, and he has outlined how he wants to be remembered by the Anfield supporters when he leaves. Asked if there had been any developments regarding a new deal, the Egyptian shook his head, smiled and said, in a very polite way, he added, "I want fans to remember that I gave it all to the fans. I gave it all to the city. I was here. I wasn't lazy. I just enjoyed my football and gave it all. I think that's what the city is about. They give you love, and you have a connection with them because you give your all. I just want them to remember that I was here for 8 years, and I gave it all. To be here for 8 years is not something I take for granted. Playing at a top club like Liverpool, fighting for every trophy every year, is incredible. I feel like I'm in very good shape, and trying to make sure that not only I improve, but that the players around me are improving as well." Salah has scored 30 goals and provided 21 assists in all competitions this season. His consistency since arriving from Liverpool from Roma in a £36.5 million deal in the summer of 2017 has seen him help the club win the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, and 2 EFL Cups, as well as double FWA Footballer of the Year and PFA Player of the Year awards. Liverpool have been unable to offer him a deal that he feels ready to sign, with captain Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold also out of contract in the summer. He would be a huge loss to the Merseysiders, with his influence off the pitch just as vital to his contribution off it. In an interview with former Reds midfielder Stephen McManaman for TNT Sport, Salah outlined how he has become something of a father figure to the younger players in Slot's squad. Salah said, "You are not going to win the league alone, so you want other players around you to perform. That's what I've been doing for the last few months, studying the games to understand what the other players like. In the past, when I was younger, I would just focus on myself on the pitch. I try to understand how the players feel, so they can express their feelings and just be honest with me. It's part of being a footballer. You grow up and give your experience to younger players. I speak to them in the coffee bar and also in the gym. If someone is annoyed, they know I'm not going to snitch to the manager so they can express their feelings about the manager or themselves. I'm there to do the dirty jobs for the manager." Premier League leaders. Liverpool are gearing up for a summer transfer spree should they lose Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold. With only 4 months left on their Anfield contracts, the trio will be free to depart at season's end if nothing changes. The club is still hopeful of securing all 3 on new contracts, but is also preparing for life without them. The Athletic, via the Liverpool Echo, reported a massive amount of funds will be allocated for signing replacements, and Liverpool are fully cognizant of the need for a rebuild should 1, 2 or all 3 stars exit. Salah, Van Dijk and Alexander-Arnold are the top earners at the club, and if any of them decide to stay, it will likely affect how much money Arneslot can allocate for new signings in the summer. On the flip side, if their wage bill is significantly slashed by any departures at the end of the season, their transfer budget is expected to increase. Liverpool's financial health has been on an upward trajectory in recent years. According to the Deloitte Football Money League, the club's total revenue rose to approximately £600 million for 2023-24, marking an increase from the previous season's return of £565 million. Much of this financial boost can be attributed to a £37 million surge in commercial revenue and a £24 million increase in matchday revenue, partly due to the unveiling of the new Anfield Road stand. Liverpool's failure to secure a spot in last season's Champions League resulted in a dip in broadcast revenue, but that figure is anticipated to skyrocket this term, especially with the Reds poised to pocket at least £83 million in Champions League prize money and an additional £47 million still up for grabs. Liverpool are also set to kick off a new kit deal with Adidas later this year, which will bring in £60 million annually. All things considered, the club should have ample financial flexibility in the summer transfer window, particularly if top earners Salah, Van Dijk and Alexander-Arnold do decide to depart. The uncertainty over their futures doesn't seem to have affected Liverpool's performance. The club currently sits 11 points clear at the top of the Premier League and are hot favourites to clinch the title with less than a third of the season remaining. Salah, in particular, has been on fire, contributing to 51 goals thus far. Van Dijk has also been impressive and ever-present in Slot's defence, while Liverpool have looked considerably worse off when he's been absent. Alexander-Arnold, however, has had a somewhat inconsistent season, appearing slightly off his game since Real Madrid expressed interest during the January transfer window. It's believed Los Blancos are confident of securing the fullback in the summer, but Liverpool haven't given up hope of persuading him to stay. Meanwhile, both Salah and Van Dijk have publicly stated their wish to stay at the club, but talks with the duo appear to have hit a stalemate for some weeks now. Liverpool are working against the clock to secure their futures, but supporters can take comfort in knowing if they fail to do so, the club won't cut corners when it comes to finding replacements. Arsenal, currently second in the league with a game in hand over Liverpool, could narrow the gap at the top to 8 points with a victory over Nottingham Forest on Wednesday. However, Liverpool can counteract that outcome with a win against Newcastle later the same evening. The Reds are due to face off against PSG at the Parc des Princes next Wednesday, March 5th, in the first leg of their highly anticipated round of 16 Champions League clash. Following that, they'll take on Southampton in a top versus bottom league clash, before hosting PSG at Anfield for their second leg on March 11th.